What's up guys, WebSoak here. Today we have 21st Street Station on the G line. So I did promise Court Square next, but let me explain. So real quick, Court Square, I have every single platform basically done, but the connections are a little bit confusing for me. So I have to wait until I get a chance to visit the station and figure that out. Alright, so yeah, thanks for the understanding, and I'll have Court Square out soon. If I can't get it next episode, then I'll find another smaller station like this to do so that it's not too long of a gap. So 21st Street, Van Alst. I'm not sure where the Van Alst comes from. If I figure it out, I'll link it right here. I'll put like a description right on the screen somewhere, which you will see pop up if I figure that out. The station was opened August 19th, 1933, so it's, as of the time of this recording, 87 years old. Of course, if you're watching 3 years in the future, it will be 90 years old. And it is on the IND Crosstown line. Pretty weird, but that is the G line. So this is also our first G line station. I'm also going to start including a graphic showing the progress on every single line whenever I tour that line's station. So you'll see a G and then it will say 1 out of something stations done. And I'll also, you know what I'll also do? I'll also link the videos in the description for the lines that go to whatever station I do that are complete, unless it's like Times Square or something super crazy like that. Because then the whole description's gonna be crazy. Alright, so let's get into the station. So it's actually really close to Court Square. So here is 21st Street, that is Jackson Avenue, not the same one as the Bronx. Although it's kind of weird when you have two named the same and they almost look kind of similar, although Jackson Avenue is smaller in the Bronx. And we're on 47th Avenue as well. So Court Square is literally just out of render distance. If I was to walk maybe, if I was to cross the street, it would probably render in. I think that traffic light is actually on the same intersection as the station. So let's go into 21st Street, Van Alst on the G line. So this station is not severely angled. It's actually a pretty reasonable angle. I'm very happy that it's not a weird angle like you've seen in some of the other stations like Alabama Avenue on the J. So here it says exit northwest corner of 21st Street Station and Jackson Avenue. I added a new color for the pillars, so that's cool. So I added in 2 new shades of green. There's a different one at Court Square, but the platform is pretty similar to Court Square. Southwest corner of Jackson Avenue and 47th Avenue as well. I'll show you guys this exit. So again, this is using the darker shade of green that I added. It's almost like an emerald green. It's a pretty nice shade of green, if I'm going to be honest there. I won't be using this for outside structures because it doesn't have a staircase, obviously. I can only carve it out like this or make the, like the full blocks or the pillars. If I was to use it for stairs, then it would not render in outside, so I'm not going to use it. Probably not going to use it for elevated structures. Maybe the stations, but not for the actual support. So I'll go to that one at the end because you guys kind of saw that one anyway, but yeah. So this station's sort of run down, not really too much, but yeah, so entry to the G. So yeah, you've got some like 30 spots around here. It's kind of run down, sort of kind of similar stuff. So G, I did the same issue here. So you see the staircase is very thin. I did the same thing at Court Square. So yeah, learn from that mistake. Don't make your staircases 2 blocks wide if it's a angled station, or that's gonna happen. So exit 21st Street and Jackson Avenue. Oh yeah, let me grab a minecart so yeah, I can show you guys the announcements, of course. So the minecarts are right here. I think that this is the only staircase. There's not too much information about this station or pictures that I was able to gather online, but I have been here once. And to my knowledge, there's just one staircase and there's nothing else because there's no other exits. So here are the route signs. So Crosstown to Brooklyn, G to Church Avenue all times. G's got some pretty simple route signs. Then on this side, it just says G to Court Square, transfer EM7 at Court Square, next stop, next and last stop. Of course, I couldn't fit the circles around there because it was only enough room for one sign. So let's go over to this end first. I'll show you guys the announcements here. I made a new reskin of the third rail, and that one is better, I'd say, for this anyway. Instead of having the shiny metal bit, this one's, again, it's more run down, so it's more of a black color. I probably should have used this at a lot of the parts on the D line that were done in the Bronx, but it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. So here into the tunnel, you can see Court Square is not quite visible, but if I had my render distance, like if the server was set to like 20, you'd be able to see it. That's how close it is. It's like barely out of render distance. So here are the Court Square bound announcements.
This is a Court Square bound G train.
The next and last stop is
Court Square.
Alright, so I just raised the volume there because I had it a little bit quiet. Again, you can see into the tunnel over there. Really cool stuff. It's an I&D tunnel, and thanks to someone actually figured out that I&D tunnels are just flat on the top. Let me go over to a lit up part. So they're actually just flat. Apparently there's no branches on them. So I've stopped putting branches in I&D tunnels, because apparently that was how it was built. I&D was built by the city. I&D was not actually built by a separate company. Of course, parts may have been incorporated into it, but most of it was actually built by New York City and not by any of the other companies. So here is the other end of the platform. I kind of like this platform despite it being so barren. That's sort of what's cool about it, that it's just this barren platform at the bottom of Long Island City, more so even Hunters Point, and it's basically the second to last stop on the G, obviously. So it's just got that interesting feel to it where you're right before the end, but of course you could just transfer and then keep going. The reason why the G announcement over there actually sounds like the F and not the G is because the G line used to go to Forest Hills, in which case if you had a G train that was rerouted and you were lucky enough to where it was an R160, then it would sound like the G's normal voice. Of course, G trains run with R68s and not R160s, so the rarity for that to happen is extremely rare. Obviously that could happen, and it did happen at one point because the announcements are already recorded online, which you can just search up on YouTube, to Forest Hills. And yeah, so that's the reason why the last, if you ever get a G that's an R160, which only happens if it gets rerouted to Coney Island. So if a G train, if the G's get rerouted to Coney Island, then it will be R160s. And I just think that is because of the yard that it uses at that point, having the R160s. So yeah, that's why G trains are R160s when they go to Coney Island. So, of course, in my world, the G line is going to be R160s. I was considering making it R143s, but if I make it an R143, I have to edit the announcement because the R143, the next stop is actually different. And I had just found that out recently, so I think I like the voice, so I'm just going to keep it as an R160. So, of course, you got the same route sign here, and the 21s along the line, or the wall, along the wall, yeah. Here's the Brooklyn bound announcement. This is the second stop of the G in Queens. There's only two of them in Queens, actually, which is 21st Street and Court Square. So here's the downtown announcement.
This is a Brooklyn-bound G train. The next stop is Greenpoint Avenue.
Yeah, so the G has pretty nice announcements, obviously. So yeah, that is it. So that's pretty much it for 21st Street. Interesting thing about this, I never thought about this, but this is the same 21st Street, obviously, that the F goes to with 21st Street Queensbridge. Not only that, but there's an exit for the E and M at 21st Street when they go to Court Square. So just, yeah, something cool there with 21st Street. So let's wrap up the video. We'll head out here. Again, one final look at the Mezzanine Exit 21st Street and Jackson Avenue. We'll go to the northeast corner of 21st Street and 47th Avenue. end out the video. You can see on the map there the third rail for the G line. It doesn't show my tracks for some reason, but it does show the third rail. Alright, come out here and yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Of course, like I said before, I am aiming for Court Square to be next. I have all the platforms done, it's really just the connections. I even finished one of the mezzanines. So I probably have to visit it because again, it's a little confusing. And again, if that takes too long, then I'm just going to wind up doing a, you know, quicker stop I can do quicker, like maybe Hunters Point Avenue or Vernon Boulevard on the 7 or 21st Street Queensbridge on the F or Roosevelt Island. And you know, for that matter, I'm going to tell you guys what the quote surprise was going to be. Of course, a bunch of you guys already figured it out. And of course, that will be the Queensboro Bridge. I had a really nice build of it on my previous world, and the bridge was super good, and the length was perfect, and everything looked perfect with it. So I decided to bring it over to this world. I still have to make the off-ramps, but I am not touring the bridge until I tour Queensboro Plaza, because Queensboro Plaza is partially over the ramps for the bridge, and if I didn't have it there, then the bridge technically wouldn't be the full completed bridge because the, you know, the subway is over it. So yeah, that's what the surprise will be. Obviously not a surprise anymore, but it's going to be the Queensboro Bridge. I have to build Queensboro Plaza first, and I want to have a connection into Queens to do that. I'm actually also looking at doing the, I know I mentioned the J, but with the alignment with the J, here's the thing, it goes to Jamaica Center, right? So I have to have a, you guys saw the angle on the J. It's a pretty crazy angle. To make sure that that aligns good, I'd like to have the E, M, F, and R available. You know, Queens Boulevard, I want to have that road built and connected. I did already build out Metropolitan Avenue, of course. Again, I showed you guys in the Alabama Avenue video. It's all about over there. That I have it marked out, but I just want to make sure that's good. So I'm going to try to connect the E from Queens Boulevard over to at least Jamaica Van Wyck, but obviously then I could just do Jamaica Center and Sutphin and then go back to the J. But then I had another idea. So I also realized that the M line could be fairly easily completed. I'm not going to say easily. Right now, the top 3 lines closest to being done, if I'm correct, are the J, M, and D. So, yeah. Third time there. We're going to be either the J or the M is going to be the next full ride. Probably, maybe the M, though, because with me building the Queensboro Bridge back into this world, it kind of gives me some motivation to go a little bit into Queens, and with the J being how it is with its angle, it makes it so that I want to have it aligned well, because it's a dangerous angle to work at. You could easily mess up with that angle. So, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a like, comment something. Hope you guys enjoyed this station. This is probably going to be one of the only G stations you guys are going to see for a while again. This is the second G station I've done. Of course, the previous was Metropolitan Avenue, Lorimer Street. Go check that one out if you haven't already. And I am out.